Hello everyone. So the next topic here which we will be studying is about the urine formation. So before urine formation we will discuss the excretory systems. So what we will discuss about the excretory system. Now, life of every organism depends on certain basic processes and excretion is one among them. Different organisms follow different modes of excretion. So in complex organisms, which are humans, there is a specialized system for excretion which is known as the human excretory system. Now, a human excretory system consists of various organs, and that organs will include the kidneys, ureter, urinary bladder, urethra. So these are the main organs of the excretory system. So if I talk about human, then human it is a it is an exceptional machine where different life processes takes place simultaneously. So as a result, there are many waste products which is produced in our body in various forms, which includes the carbon dioxide, water, nitrogenous products like urea, ammonia, and uric acid. So in addition to these chemicals and other toxic compounds from medications and hormonal products are produced, simple diffusion is not sufficient to eliminate these wastes from our body. So we need a more complex and specific processes in order to eliminate these wastes. So kidney, which the main role of kidney is the reabsorption and which separate the useful substances by reabsorption and toxic substances by producing the urine. So there is a formation of urine which has been formed by the kidney. So kidney has a structural infiltration unit called the nephron where the blood is filtered. So each kidney has a millions of nephrons. So capillaries of the kidneys, they filter the blood and essential substances like glucose, amino acids, salts, and the required amount of water get reabsorbed and the blood goes into the circulation. So whenever there is an excess amount of water and nitrogenous waste in the humans, they are converted to the urine. So this is how a urine is being formed. So urine that is produced and is passed by the urinary bladder via the ureter. So it is passed by the urinary bladder via the ureter. So the urinary bladder is under the control of the central nervous system. The brain signals the urinary bladder to contract, and through the urinary opening called the urethra, we excrete the urine. So let's discuss that how this urine is being formed in our body. So I have already discussed about the excretion process. That excretory system is one of the parts of the human body, and it helps to its vital role is by eliminating the toxins and waste products from the body. So not only humans, the plants and animals also excrete waste, and they excrete through the various processes such as transcription, and animals excrete waste by various forms. For example, urine, sweat, feces, and tears. So among all, the main and the usual form is the excretion is the urine. So we will be discussing more in detail about the urine. Now, urine formation. So what are the constituents of the human urine? So the constituents of the normal human urine consist of 95% water and 5% solid wastes. It is produced in the nephron, which is a part of a kidney, which is the structural and the functional unit of the kidney. So this is the formation of the urine. Now, the urine formation includes various phases. Now, what are these phases? So first, we will discuss about the glomerular filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. So we will be discussing these three phases in detail. So first, we will see the figure representing the three phases. So you can see the urine is mentioned here. So and all the three processes are mentioned here. The arrows, they are representing that what kind of phase they are undergoing. Now first I will discuss about this, the glomerular filtration. So water and solutes smaller than proteins are forced through the capillary walls and pores of the glandular capsules into the renal tubule. So this is the rest of the renal tubule. This is a glomerular capsule and capillaries. So it is the primary. So glomerular filtration, it is the primary step of urine formation. In this process, the excess fluid and waste products from the kidney are filtered out of the blood into the urine collection tubules of the kidney and eliminated out from the body. So this was about the glomerular filtration. The next step is about the tubular reabsorption. So in tubular reabsorption, as you can see, the B part, it has been represented here. So what is happening here? The water, glucose, amino acids and needed ions are transported out of the filtrate into the tubule cells and then enter the capillary blood. And the last part is the secretion, or the last phase is the secretion, where the various ions, the H plus ions, potassium ions, creatine and drugs, they are removed from the peritubular blood and is secreted by the tubule cells into the filtrate. So the C is represented in the blue arrow here. Now, so what are these phases? We will be discussing in detail in these slides. So glomerular filtration, as I have told you, that this is considered as the primary step in the urine formation. So it occurs in the, where does it occurs? It occurs in the glomerulus, where the blood is filtered. So in this particular process, the excess of fluid and waste products from the kidney are filtered out of the blood into the urine collection tubules of the kidney and just being eliminated out of the body. So the amount of filtrate produced by the kidneys every minute is known as the glomerular filtration rate. So that is known as the glomerular filtration rate. Now this process occurs across three layers. And what are these three layers? It has been represented here. So the three layers are represented here. That is the epithelium of the Bowman's capsule, then the endothelium of the glomerular blood vessel, and a membrane between these two layers. So that is the three layers where this process occurs. There is a term called ultrafiltration which is being introduced here. So what is it? It is the way the process is filtered. The blood is filtered in such a way that all the constituents of the plasma reach the Bowman's capsule except the proteins. So proteins will not reach the Bowman's capsule. Only the blood and various other constituents of the plasma reach the Bowman's capsule, and where the further filtration of the blood takes place. The next is the reabsorption. So if I talk about reabsorption, then about 99% of the filtrate is reabsorbed by the renal tubules, and this is achieved by the active and passive transport. So it is the absorption of ions. It is the absorption of ions and molecules such as sodium, ions, glucose, amino acids, etc. So water involves passive absorption, while the glucose and sodium ions will involve the active transport. So if I talk about the active transport, it is being the glucose and sodium, they involve in the passive transport. And if I talk about the active transport and if I talk about the passive transport, then it is the water which is involved in the passive transport. The last phase is the secretion. So in this, potassium ions, hydrogen ions and ammonia are secreted out to maintain the equilibrium between the body fluids. So the tubular the, the tubular cells secrete substances like hydrogen ions, potassium ions, etc. into the filtrate. So by this process, the ionic acid base and the balance of other body fluids are maintained. The secreted ions combine with the filtrate and form the urine. So the urine it passes out from the nephron tubule into the collecting duct. So after this process, the urine will be formed and urine will be passed out. So the urine, so it and the previous slides already I have told you that it consists of 95% of the water and 5% of the nitrogenous wastes. Wastes will include the urea, ammonia, creatinine, and they are excreted in the urine. So apart from these, there are several ions such as sodium, potassium, calcium, which are also excreted in the form of the urine. Now, the next term is the osmoregulation. So it is the process of regulating body fluids and its composition. The osmoregulation, it also maintains the osmotic pressure of the blood and helps in the hemostasis. It is recommended to consume more water, about 2 to 3 liters, which will help in the proper functioning of the kidneys. So osmoregulation, for example, in summers we drink a lot of water. Then we when we drink a lot of water, we have to go to urinate to excrete that water out from our body. So it will be the it will help in the proper functioning of the kidneys. So that is the process. So in humans and other mammals, osmoregulation is performed by the kidneys. So if I want to conclude all of this, then first of all we discussed about the urine. First of all we discussed about the excretory system, how the kidney play a role in the excretory system, and how the urine is being passed out. So urine is formed in three main steps, that is the glomerular filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. What are the constituents of the urine? They are 95% water and 5% wastes, which include several ions, sodium, potassium, nitrogenous wastes, urea, and ammonia. Then at the end of the slides, we discussed about the osmoregulation, which is the process which helps in the maintaining the temperature of our body and maintaining the hemostasis of the body. It facilitates diffusion of solutes and water across the semi-permeable membrane and thereby maintain the osmotic balance. So the kidney, they regulate the osmotic pressure of blood through filtrate and purification of a process which is known as the osmoregulation. So this was all about the urine formation. These are some of the references.